Hi there, welcome back on the channel, and as you can see we have a special one today, and this one is a different kind of special because it's not a typical Golf GTI. As you could probably already see, it has gone through a bit of modifications. At the base it's a GTI Edition 30 from 2008, and it has done only for its age, only 98,000 kilometers until now. Yeah, I know. It's actually one of those cars that could proudly wear the sticker "Built Not Bought." Because, yeah, as I said, at the base it's a GTI Edition 30 with a 2-liter petrol engine, 4-cylinder turbocharger, the usual, with stock something like 230 horsepower and about 300 Nm of torque. But obviously this car is not stock anymore, so yeah, the power output has gone a bit up towards 350 horsepower. I'm not really sure of the torque figure, but anyway, obviously it's more than 300. And the sprint probably has gone a bit down from the almost 6.5 seconds that the stock car used to do. But the top speed, obviously, it's still limited at 243 kilometers per hour. Which again is more than enough, especially here in Romania. Obviously, the interesting part about the car is not necessarily the sprint from 0 to 100, because it's still a front-wheel drive platform. And even though it does have the DSG double clutch gearbox, I think that the most interesting aspect about the acceleration is while driving at speed, the way it gains speed once you're already in motion. And yeah, to get the consumptions out of the way, even though they're completely irrelevant on something built like this, for a 1.5-ton vehicle, the fact that it still could average about 7 liters outside the city is more than fine, in my opinion. And obviously, yeah, if you enjoy it, the owner has stated that it could go in average at around 16 liters per 100 kilometers. But as I said, it's absolutely irrelevant considering how the car looks. And yeah, as you could probably already saw, the main aspect that got my attention are the brakes, and I'm gonna film a bit more, a bit closer, the brake calipers, but I have to mention right off the bat, they're original. So yeah, those are the interesting parts about the build, not necessarily the daily use of the car, or I don't know, the sprints from 0 kilometers per hour or the top speed. Let's check out the trunk space with this interesting detail. Yeah, it's a hot hatch at the base, and even though it's quite a performer nowadays, it still has to do with your luggage, with your everyday use, because that's the definition of the hot hatch after all. And as you can see, we have the usual carry-on luggage in here. For VW Golf storage space, come on, it's pretty typical. You could fit about 5 carry-on luggages like this one. You have some additional space on either side of the trunk area with some hooks, a 12-volt outlet, some nets here, and some additional space under the floor. Yeah, you probably saw many times storage space of the VW Golf, and in my opinion it's more than fine. In terms of the interior space, you could probably think of this configuration like a 2+2, because you do have some rear seats, and they are for 3 passengers, so yeah, interesting. But yeah, I'm not gonna try to get inside there because the access is a bit limited, considering that we do have only one door on each side of the car. Going further with the interior, yeah, the seats are the typical GTI from edition 30 actually. They're quite sporty, with a lumbar support and the ability to raise the whole seat. Oh, and it does have some storage space in here. On the door card, the materials are on par, I mean, with the period that the car was manufactured, but at least here on the armrest it is quite soft and squeegee, with a huge storage space with some cover only on one side. If we take a look inside, the door is quite heavy, being so large, but yeah, the door closing sound, it's still alright, even after all these years. I do have about a palm of space, with some space left for the passenger in the back. I can rest my knee on the center console, even though the materials are not great, except this part, which is quite soft actually. But still, I have more than enough space, and the glove box, obviously it's covered and quite deep, so it's alright. At last, let's check out the driver's side, where you obviously do find some additional controls for the electric windows, outside mirrors, the ability to lock and unlock the doors from the inside, and the ability to open the fuel filler cap. The seat itself, once again, it's identical with the one from the passenger side, and in typical VW fashion, we do have the light controls here and here, a small storage space in here, and yeah, this one as well has a storage space under the seat. If we take a look inside the car, as I said, the door is quite heavy. And actually, I'm gonna start the car as well. So, continuing, this is the driver POV, and yeah, I know it's not the typical steering wheel of the car, but it's borrowed from a newer model, and even so, it had some modification done by the owner, with the stitching, the marking at 12 o'clock, the flappy paddle gearbox, the drive select mode, and the start-stop engine button. We do have physical controls on the steering wheel, typical stocks for wipers and lights behind the steering wheel, and the gauge cluster, it's once again borrowed from a Scirocco R, hence the design and the colors. But most importantly, we do get the oil temperature in there, so it's all the things that you would otherwise need, to be honest. Alright, consumptions are quite good in my opinion, but let's get back to the oil temperature. Continuing with the interior, you do get a sunglass holder here, something rare nowadays, but it was quite standard back in the day, with the light fixture, the dimmable mirror with frame, obviously, hazard lights, the vents of the car, the infotainment was swapped by the owner to get some connectivity. The climate unit is with physical buttons, and once again it's from a newer model, but it does look right at home here. A small storage space with a 12-volt outlet, parking sensors, tire monitoring system, and the deactivation of the stability program. The gear selector, once again, was a bit personalized by the owner, We do get a physical handbrake here with a couple of cup holders and the typical VW bottle opener. And even this one, I feel like it's not actually the typical one, because that one, if I remember correctly, it was just simple plastic. And also we have a armrest with CD changer and the tiniest storage space. Welcome to the driving part of the review, today with a marvelous GTI, and it's the full GTI, meaning that it's the Golf GTI. Thank you, Waze, for your announcement. Compared with the Polo GTI that I already reviewed, yeah, it's a completely different animal, and obviously it's because the car is not stock anymore. And I've been driving it for a moment. I think I had my first impressions set up, but I'm pretty sure that I was not able to reach not even 20% of the full potential of the configuration. But on the other hand, you know, I'm not a racing driver. I am on a public road, so yeah, I'm not sure that I will be able to do all that much. I'll try to do the usual sprint from, let's see, something like 30 to 100 kilometers per hour, and we'll see the performance for a moment. But I do have to make a disclaimer from now, because even though the tarmac is quite dry, the tires are not warm enough. And the car is still struggling to put all the power to the front wheels. But even so, it's quite eventful to accelerate, and you'll see more in a moment. Other than that, yeah, obviously it's a modified car. It's quite stiff in terms of suspension, and as I was saying, and probably the tires and the rims are not helping, because they're quite larger than the stock wheels would otherwise come on the GTI, at least for the Golf 5. And damn it, now I'll switch to the second lane, because the first one is garbage. Anyway, thank you, Romania. Yeah, other than that, no, the car feels pretty much like, almost like an ordinary Golf. The noise levels are acceptable, even though we do have quite a large tire, front and back. The steering feel is more than fine. The brakes, you wouldn't otherwise suspect that they're modified, because they're easy to modulate. And yeah, I didn't test their performance, but to be honest, once again, I doubt that I will get to do that on a public road. So yeah, for the most part, it's similar with the typical GTI, except the power and the way the car responds. Thank you once again. If you have enough grip, if you're in oh, they are really doing some road works. I wasn't here a couple of days before. Anyway, so yeah, you have to be in gear in order to get the most out of the grip. and out of the engine, obviously. Even though the gearbox is the marvelous double clutch, and it's even the first gen double clutch from VW, it still manages the power without a problem. Obviously, it had been modified in terms of the software, but other than that, yeah, if you want, you could leave it in drive and you barely feel the gear changes. Or you could put it in manual and then you really feel the gear changes, but in a pleasant way, obviously. Alright, so we are gonna leave the main road for the moment. And we'll see if the traffic allows us to do the sprint in the typical fashion that I did with some other cars on this stretch. It's quite a bumpy stretch of road, but it will be over soon. That's it. Don't have a lot of time to think about your moves, obviously, and it did spun the wheels as well. As I said, the tires are not warm enough. But yeah, it's an event. I mean, compared with some other vehicles, some stock configurations, now a build car, it's a completely different feeling. Yeah, obviously you do have some noises inside the cabin, some things are sometimes malfunctioning, and the work never stops because you're constantly trying to get more out of the car, out of the whole experience. But yeah, if you enjoy doing this kind of work, I mean, why not? And this brings me actually to the things that I enjoy and the things that I'm not necessarily a fan about this model. And I'll start with the negatives because, heck, I'm not really able to say anything about the car because it's not factory finish. It's the taste and the personality, I reckon, of the owner inside the car. It is not supposed to be perfect in any shape or form, but even so, and this actually brings me to one of the things that I'm enjoying about the review. The car is used on a daily basis, so the owner invested an almost obscene amount of money into this car, and he's using it every day. He's enjoying it. He's putting smiles on his face with the car, and that, in my opinion, is the most important thing. I don't necessarily have any experience with tuning, with modifying cars, but I have the same feeling at first when I buy a new car, or at least a new car for me, because it makes me smile. And after a long day, after a hard day of work, that's all the things that matters. All right, yeah, and I almost forgot. I do have to mention the maintenance for a moment. Even though it's a petrol engine, you will probably enjoy it quite often, so you'll be better off maintaining it at about 5,000 kilometers, 6,000 tops, because as you can see, even as running it quite slow and linear, the oil still goes to about 90 degrees, and it's better off to change something that is otherwise quite inexpensive, compared with having some problems and having to do some repairs on the engine. The same goes for the gearbox as well. At around 50,000 kilometers, you should maintain the oil in the filter. And probably the tires are due to replacement more often than not, compared with some other vehicles. Not necessarily the brakes, at least on this car, because it's not that heavy, and yeah, they're performance brakes, so no worries there. Oh, and some spark plugs probably at around 50,000 kilometers as well. Yeah, the suspension, the bushings, something like that could as well require your attention. But again, none of those matter once you open the car up and enjoy it the way it's supposed to be enjoyed. And actually, that's my point going forward. For a couple of minutes I'll leave the camera rolling, because I want you to enjoy the car, to hear it. So I'll cut my speech and I'll do the outro from now. If you enjoyed the video, as usual, consider liking to the channel, and are you gonna pass or not? Come on. Anyway, let's slow down. Yeah, I was saying, so you should like the video and subscribe to the channel. You could also leave your impression in the comment section. And as usual, until next time, thank you for watching.